Absolutely. Well, tonight we're going to be walking you through the DWC2440 3-axis standard package. We're going to introduce that to you and show you a little bit of the features, functions, as well as the accessories that are available with the unit. And what you see in our screen here is this is our flagship model. This is our DWC2440 3-axis package. Now, the DWC2440 3-axis standard package is 48 inches in length, 32 inches in width, with a cutting area of 24 by 40 along the X and Y axis, 24 inches along the Y axis, 40 inches along the X, and it has a 5-inch Z height. Currently, right now, our display model is equipped with a water-cooled spindle. As a standard, it comes with the Motivo 2.25 horsepower router. Looks like people are starting to pop in. Welcome, Ed, Paul, and Randy. Want to thank you, Roy. Hello. Looking forward to it. As you see, as you all are coming in, we are showcasing our 2440 3-axis standard package live from Martinsville, Indiana, where Digital Woodcarver is home based. All right. Let's get Burl switched back over to us so we can have a little bit of a conversation before we go into too much of the details. We've got some people popping in. Burl?
Sounds good, Laney.
Yeah. Tell them a little bit about when they are on the Digital Woodcarver website, or if they call us and things and they decide to order a unit, the 2440 3-axis standard package, what does it include?
Well, that brings up a good question. And one of the things, Laney, you and I have done a lot of shows together. When people come up, they want to know, what all do I need to get started? And our literature and our website, we try to make that as easy as possible. What we try to do is have it so that when they purchase that package deal, they go home, they provide their computer, but besides the computer, they have everything they need. It comes with a unit. The 2440 comes with its own router, shop vac. It comes with the controller software. It comes also in, obviously you have different options of the design software, but those are, we try to incorporate it into those packages. So when you go home, you don't have to, purchase something else. You do have to have a window-based computer. That can be a laptop or a desktop, either one. But that package deal, and it even comes with a sample 60-degree V-bit that we provide with the package there. So literally, there shouldn't be any reason, once they have that package, once they're home, get those software loaded, connected, they should be able to cut.
And that's
one other thing. Yep, go ahead.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's one of the key things, is the unit is completely plug and play ready. I mean, very minimal assembly is required. The stand pretty much is for the 3-axis package the only assembly required, about 20 nuts and bolts. And other than that, you just need their computer, plug in and go. And Earl, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead and continue.
No, you actually was talking about it there. One of the other things I wanted to point out is this unit is a complete, ready to go. We've tested it in our facility. It is not a kit. So when you get it, it is complete. You have to plug in the control box. There's about 4 or 5 different wires, but they only go one place, one direction. There's labeled on the ones that could be mixed up. You do have to put the stand together, but it's a very basic stand to bolt together. But this is not a kit. You shouldn't have to spend over even a couple hours is probably a long time to set this up. Besides the software, loading that may take some of you a little bit longer, but we will help you and go through that too if we need to.
Absolutely. And if I could take over for a moment, one of the things that, aside from the package itself, one of the things that Burl didn't get to mention, and it's kind of one of my favorite things to mention, is along with that unit that is plug and play ready, all you need is a laptop or a desktop computer, you also receive training. Your training, I'm so sorry. The training is a 2-hour orientation training, live, one-on-one with me. We are connected together. I can operate your machine remotely. After that 2-hour orientation, which is video recorded for you, you can actually get a copy of that video and email to you so you can refer back to it on. But you have 24-hour, 6-day-a-week support. We are closed on Sundays. And with that, we do have a awesome live class on Spindle TV every Tuesday night that you can follow along for continued education. And so not only are you getting this complete package, but you're also getting some training and understanding on how to use this package. And Burl was just switching over, showing us a little showcase of the table. Burl, looks like you've got a piece of wood on the table like you're going to carve tonight. I think we're going to do some carving and have some fun. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are open for questions. Just to kind of limit those questions, we're not going to be talking about technical issues or anything like that. Not when I say issues, not issues in a negative way, but technical stuff. If the question does get into technical, we'll do our best to answer it. But if you have any questions, go ahead and ask them, and we're going to try to get to them as quickly as possible. Our first question of the evening is Evan Wilkerson. I'm sorry, Burl, this one's for you. Is this your flagship model? And yes, go ahead.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I wanted to apologize there for a second. I forgot to get our router bit sets that we want to talk about here in a little bit. So our extra cameraman, I sent them to get our router bits we want to talk about. It is our flagship. This is our 10-year anniversary. This was the unit that started it all when it comes to that. And, this is our 10-year anniversary. We've been producing these since 2010. We've made some changes over the few years, with different things, improvements and stuff. But if you looked at the core of it, for the most part, it is still the same, unit size-wise, and the core structure of it is the same.
Absolutely. And Burl, I'm going to let you guys get set up over there, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the machine. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now, with the digital wood carver 2440, the unit itself, as far as the construction, the frame is made of 1/8-inch steel, powder coated. All of the components of the frame and everything are made in-house. And let's switch over. We're going to get a tour as I'm talking through here. Our steel construction is powder coated and shaped, everything in Martinsville. Actually, it's Shoals, Indiana, at our factory at Shoals, Indiana.
Yep.
Our unit's drive system, we have 1-inch stainless steel rods along the x-axis down underneath, and Burl's going to kind of pan under there a little bit. You can see that stainless steel rod, 1 inch for the x-axis, dual driven, and up above we have 3/4 inch stainless steel rods for the Y and the Z. Now our system is dual belt driven along the X, and along the Y we have a single belt, and the Z is lead screw. The unit itself, as I said, is a footprint. A lot of people ask about the footprint for room in their shop. 48 inches in the length, 48 inches in the length. Let me talk a little bit clearer. By 32 inches in its width. With that, there is a 24-inch by 40-inch cutting area. Now, the Z-axis has a 5-inch Z height travel. And Burl, when he comes back, he's not going to come back right now, but when he does come back, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But with that 5-inch Z travel, I could probably carve in about 4-inch thick material, but only cut through maybe 2 3/8 to 2.5 inch thick material. And when I say only, that's not a bad thing. I can cut through 2.5 inch thick material very easily, or 2 3/8 to 2.5. And Burl will give me that exact number when he comes back around and talks to us. Now, we have the controller system. The stand itself has a shelf, so you can have extra space and storage. And right now we have our control unit, which sits right on that shelf. And you'll see next to the controller unit, the VFD, the variable frequency drive, which is included with the water-cooled spindle. Below the unit is the water tank, where the water cycles through for that water-cooled spindle. As a standard unit, it comes with a Hitachi 2 1/4 variable speed soft start router, the water-cooled spindle is an upgrade option, and we do have 2 options available to us. I believe by the looks of that water-cooled spindle that is our 1.5 kilowatt water-cooled spindle, and that
That is correct.
1.5 is, I'm sorry, Burl, say that again.
That is correct. This is the 110 1.5 kilowatt spindle.
Excellent. And what the 1.5 kW spindle does, it gives us the benefit of having a water-cooled spindle, which gives us extended run times. It's much quieter than a router, but it keeps our system at a 110 power circuit. So a basic 15 to 20 amp 110 breaker in your shop could run this very easily. Now, aside,
And if you want, let me fire this up and show them that benefit.
yeah, let's do that.
You enjoy the quiet because it makes very little sound.
That is the thing running. And Burl, let's give it just a moment of silence so we can hear that run. Outstanding. That is one of the benefits of a water-cooled spindle. It is this super quiet, whisper quiet. You can actually operate and work around the unit comfortably and talk to one another if you have others in the shop, other workers and things, versus a router. And aside from the 1.5 kilowatt router spindle, sorry, I keep saying router, the water-cooled spindle, we do have a 2.2 kW water-cooled spindle, and Burl will jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. But that, if I'm not mistaken, that equates to about a 3 horsepower water-cooled spindle.
That is correct.
Yes, and that gives us the opportunity. The difference between the two is the 1.5 kilowatt water-cooled spindle has a capacity, a router bit capacity of 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch shanks. The 2.2 kW water-cooled spindle gives us the opportunity to use 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, and 1/2 inch shank router bit. So we get to step up in that fashion. Now, the 2.2 kW water-cooled spindle does alter the system's electrical requirements and takes it from a 110 system to a 220 single-phase system. So you would require a 220 outlet in the shop to operate. But as you can
Laney,
see,
one thing I want to point out with the regular routers, they take and we do offer a Bosch and a Porter cable as upgrade. Those do a 1/4 and a 1/2 inch shank size on those 2 options.
absolutely. And when you get your unit, if you did opt for the water-cooled spindle upgrades and everything, you get the collets with it. So if the 2.2 kW water-cooled spindle comes with an 1/8 inch, a 1/4 inch, and a 1/2 inch shank collet. And then the 1.5 kilowatt spindle comes with a 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch collet along with it. Burl, let's go ahead and switch back to you just for a quick moment and let you flip over.
Yep.
All right.
Try to find where the light's not bright. So
Absolutely.
but
Now, one of the things I want to talk about is I'm going to have you, whether you pan and look at the machine and stuff, is if you could just talk about the items that they have. I know you have on the shelf. I saw it hiding under there. They get a quick start guide to get them up and running right away. How many dust skirts do they get with their unit? And the options that are available. And I see there's dust skirts sitting there as well. Let's talk about the clamps and things. There we go.
Yep. Perfect. Right. As far as the quick set guide, or not quick set guide, sorry, quick start guide, we do have an option as a quick set, but that's a different feature. But you get that with some instructions on how to get started with some download items that are on our website where you can order directly. There is clamps. You get a couple of those. Those are for our T-tracks. We have 5 T-tracks that run the full length of our tabletop so that you can pretty well clamp that project down anywhere you would like. And then you get a couple of skirts. Talking about the skirts, Laney, if you want to talk about some of our options that would be available for those items, kind of follow in on that. Are we
Sure.
ready to talk about those?
I would, and I just want to let them know that with the T-tracks, that the integrated T-tracks on the table, not only can you use 2¼ inch, or not, I'm sorry, not 2¼ inch, but quarter 20-inch T-bolts, but you can also use quarter 20 hex head bolts for making your own customized clamps, hold downs, and features and jigs and things. Now, the unit itself comes with 2 of those dust skirts that you see laying on the table for dust collection. They wrap around right along the vacuum head. And if Burl could zoom into that vacuum housing that's on the underneath the spindle and all, that current vacuum housing right there is a 1¼ inch vacuum housing. And it has a hose that travels up so that your 1¼ inch vacuum hose can connect right straight to it. So you just plug it right in and for your dust collection. Now, this unit comes standard with a vacuum, but some people may have their own vacuum system and say, hey, what can I do if my hose is 2¼ inch? Well, Burl is showcasing right now our alternate dust hood, which is the 2½ inch dust hood. That can be added to the accessory, which takes the place of the 1¼ inch. So your 2½ inch hoses will adapt right to that dust hood. And all of our accessories that attach to those dust hoods, they're interchangeable. So when we get into talking about the dust brushes here in a second, they're all interchangeable, no matter if you have the 1¼ inch or the 2½ inch dust hood. Now, Burl, that looks like the 1 inch, or is that the 2? Nope, that's the 2 inch right there. That's the 2 inch dust hood that he has in his hand.
Yep.
This is an alternative to the vinyl skirting. You get a kit. We have options of buying an individual 2 inch dust skirt or dust brush. Let's call it the proper name, a dust brush, or a 1 inch dust brush. And as a kit, you can buy those together as a pair, or you can buy them individually. And they are magnetic. They just snap right on to the dust hood just like that, which is pretty awesome for easy removal for when you're doing bit changes and things. Thank you very much for showing that, Burl. Now, the quick start guide is going to get someone up and going rather quickly, that document that you have right there on the desk. This is going to give you the 1, 2, 3 steps of connecting your cables, where to go to download your controller software, as well as where to go to download your Vcarve software that you've bundled in with your unit. Now, the next accessory that we're going to talk about is the laser guide. But before we get into the laser guide, I'll get that prepared and kind of show that off. But I do have someone asking a question that I would like to answer that
Okay.
the question is does this model have limit switches? And Burl, I'd like to start off by answering that by saying, no, it does not have limit switches, but within the Planet CNC motion controller software, we do have an opportunity to set up what's called soft limits. And Burl, I would like you just to touch very briefly on why this particular unit does not have limit switches. And for me, here's what my opinion is. Because it being a small shop model, it's not a big industry model, and inside of a factory where, safety is concerned, limit switches just didn't seem practical and in my eyes. And it's by design. And what was your thinking with that?
Well, and that's exactly right, Laney. We've been making this model for 10 years. Certainly, the software would allow us for limit switches, and we've had a request come up once in a while. But honestly, with the size of the stepper motors that are on there, once you hit that hard mechanical limit, it is not going to tear up the machine. And in our factory, we have large CNC machines that, if those things crash, I mean, it's thousands of dollars to have one repaired. Our smaller units, it just physically doesn't have that torque to overpower the mechanical Obviously, if you do go against the mechanical, limits, it will mess up your,
Setting.
your project. Yeah, your setting or your position of it, but it won't change the, tear up or damage the machine.
Yeah, and that's a great answer. And the thing of it is, Burl, one of the things is it doesn't have that power to over torque, or over
Right.
torque the mechanicals. You do hear that, and you hear a noise that it lets you know that you're at your limit, but it doesn't mechanically hurt anything. It's just
Right.
kind of, it's letting you know that that's as far as you can go. And it's
Exactly.
not a practical application, the limit switches. But you said one key thing is that if a user decided to independently add limit switches to their machine, they
Yeah.
could, because our control board does allow for it.
Yeah, it has that interface. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, let's go back, and if we could go back and talk a little bit about the laser guide, because that's a pretty cool accessory. All right. Now, the laser guide that Burl's going to be showing here, this is a crosshair laser that attaches right to the front of the spindle or router. You'll see the laser guide. He's got it turned on there, and it creates that X pattern. X marks the spot. So when you get that tuned in correctly and all to the center of your bit, it's just a great way to quickly get to X and Y 0 to set your machine. It's a wonderful accessory to have. And the price of that laser guide is actually quite affordable. The laser guide currently right now on the website runs at, if I'm not mistaken, and I want to get this quote just right, the laser guide runs $69.99 currently, and it's an accessory that one could add on. And if you look at that dust housing, those 4 bolts that attach to the dust housing, the laser guide attaches right below that mounting bracket, right onto those bolts, and it'll connect right to there. You'll remove those bolts and connect it right in. And setup is very easy. We have, if Burl could show the actual laser guide himself and flip it over to the downside of it, the upside down of it, we have 2 large knobs at the bottom of the laser guide that will control the lines and the direction of the lines to get them lined up with your bit. And then on those knobs, there is a very small set screw, which Burl is shining into right now, that controls the, I think it's the vertical movements to get
That
those
is correct.
up and everything. So it's very easy to set up and get tuned in to the center of your bit. And it's one of my, I like it. Now, Burl has put down the laser guide, and now he's got these 2 wonderful aluminum blocks here. We talked earlier about the Digital Woodcarver's default Z height of 5 inches. What you're seeing on the screen now is our 2-inch riser block. The 2-inch riser block can be added to the gantry to give yourself an additional 2 inches of height. And this is perfect for those individuals wanting to carve larger or thicker pieces of material, slabs and things. So it will mount right under that gantry and raise that gantry up 2 inches. It's perfect for those specialized needs where someone needs some additional height for the thickness of materials. And one of the questions I get all the time, and Burl might be able to chime in on this, is if I put my 2-inch blocks on, do I keep taking them on or putting them off, or let's do that backwards. Do I keep taking them off or putting them on as I need them? My saying is no. Once you put them on, you would keep them on. It would not be something that you would interchange, but Burl may have a different take on that.
Well, no. Obviously, it depends on exactly what. Sorry, I'm trying to flip my camera. What you're doing. Yeah, where they come in handy, or where our customers had requested for higher Z, which for doing like boxes or urns or things like that, where they needed that extra distance. Now, some people will use it also if they're putting extra fixtures on this tabletop, specialty fixtures and jigs that, if they put an extra 3/4 inch, then that lost, that much travel. So you can certainly always put something under a project if it is a thin project to raise it up, so you don't have to go back and forth. Obviously, if you're going to run a long time, you know, with very thin or, you know, in that say inch to, you know, smaller you know, projects, you probably would want to go. But if it's something that you're going to go back and forth, just simply put a spacer under and raise it up, because we do add 2 inches to the height of it, but we do not add 2 inches of travel. So it won't go clear down to the bed or tabletop when it comes to that. But there's no reason to block it up.
Exactly. And what Burl is referring to as fixtures is, you know, we have individuals, of course, all of us at some point in time, we're going to add a waste board to our table to protect our tabletop. Someone might be doing a DIY vacuum table or whatever they, you know, whatever comes up with, and they may require that extra height. And that's where the 2-inch riser block gives that extra height and things. Burl, we're going to take another question here.
Sure.
The gentleman, it's a very simple question. The gentleman, for Pat Carp, says, I'm brand new to this stuff. My question is on the water-cooled spindles. Do you not have an electric router? And for Pat Carp, I think you might have popped in a little bit late because our unit comes standard with a 2¼ horsepower router.
Yep.
And one of the things is we jumped right to the water-cooled spindle because that's what this unit is equipped with. But we do have other router options. We have a Hitachi 16, I'm sorry, we have a Bosch 1617 2¼ horsepower router option. And we also have a Porter Cable 892 router option that someone could upgrade to if they choose an electric router versus a water-cooled spindle. So I want to thank you for that question. It was very good. And but the water-cooled spindles are just an upgrade option, Pat.
Yep.
I'm going to call
Laney,
you.
we probably need to go over this last one and get cutting. Just looking at our time here. Let's show the casters set that's available for this.
And the caster set is a 5-inch caster set. It is an optional upgrade, $75 for a set of 4, and it takes the place of the leveling legs that come with the stand. So it makes the unit completely mobile. The unit itself, if you have a fixed place in your shop, then you would have it on its leveling legs. But if you are in one of those shops where you've got to share that shop space with a vehicle or other equipment and you need that unit to be completely mobile, that's where the caster set comes in handy. And this is a 5-inch caster set. And again, that's an accessory. It's $75 for a set of 4 casters. Burl, jump in and tell me, you don't need to pan around. That's great. But just tell me, they're all 4 locking casters, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
They are. They're all braking, but they all swivel, so you can move it up to your wall on that, you know, wherever you need to on that.
All right. And
my gimbal give out. I wasn't trying to.
You did.
I need to reset it.
You did great.
So
I'm going to answer another question here while you're doing that. The question from David is how do folks attach a flatten spoil board and still be able to use the T-tracks? Well, David, if they're using a spoil board, it's going to cover those T-tracks. And so within their spoil board, they're either going to create or integrate T-tracks. Definitely check out Spindle TV on YouTube. Look at the video, A Versatile Waste Board, and that will explain how to create T-tracks in your waste board for use and everything. All right, that was a great question. Burl, I know we're going to be coming back on time. You're back with us. Let's talk a little bit about the software and things. And can we just, as we close, maybe have the machine run? But Burl is showing us our computer here. And on the computer screen is the controller software. Our controller software is Planet CNC TNG. Stands for the next generation, just like Star Trek, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very user-friendly and intuitive software package. It is very, very versatile. It can run any one of our machines from our mini carver all the way up to our commercial unit and any CNC. It is a program created by Planet CNC. And it currently right now is controlling the MK34 board that is in our control box. What you see on
Laney?
Yes, sir.
Yep. You'll also pop up the screen and show them where we've got our logo design in our Vcarve.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Let's get over here. So in our Vcarve software, we've got the digital woodcarver decal that has been imported in. Now, this could have been a picture, it could have been a DXF file, a SVG, PDF, or an Adobe Illustrator file, and this happens to be an SVG. And what I've got is I've got a 12-inch by 6-inch board here that I have got the logo sized up in. And for the tool path, I'm going to be using a Vcarve tool path. We're going to be starting at a start depth of 0, the top of the material. We're going to limit the cut to 0.4 inches. Going to go ahead and limit that to 0.4. And we're using the 60-degree V-bit that comes standard with the 2440 to create this carving. Now, when I saved this file, once that tool path has been created and saved, that is the file that gets opened up in the controller software. And the controller software that you see on the screen is just like what Burl has on his screen. This is our Planet CNC TNG motion controller software. Once that file is imported in, it's a matter of zeroing out our X and Y axis on our material, touching off the Z, and hit start. Now let's go ahead and get back to Burl and I. And
Yeah,
Burl,
Laney, yeah, we pulled this after you made that design. We pulled this logo in by just simply importing that tool path that you created there in Vcarve. That can be on your computer. You can transfer that via USB stick. But let me just go over and show the block. And there was a couple features here we didn't talk about earlier that I want to point out as we're doing this. But I got my board clamped in there, and you'll see. I'll try to zoom in on it. Hopefully we can see it. There's a mark on that board there.
yes,
that
sir.
I had measured to be the center of our project. Now, what we can do is we can do it from the screen or from a pendant. This is connected to our control box. We have manual control of the machine. So as I move that back and forth, I can manually move that. And what I'm going to do is, and I'll show you that 0 point, I'm going to manually move the machine. And I have a dial here that I can one-handedly turn it down so it's barely creepy or going very fast. I can make it slow. And so what I'm going to do, now if you got a laser guide with the crosshairs, you can use that. But if you don't have that, then you can use the by sight, lining that X and Y up by visual. And then on the Z, we have a touch plate. And both these options are standard features of the 2440. And this touch plate is going to go down below. And I don't know if I can do this with
That's all right, Burl. Go
a
ahead.
one-handed process. But anyhow, when I, believe it or not, I think I'm accomplishing it. So when it touched that touch plate, it stopped. Okay? Let me show you the screen, what we're going to do over here on the screen. Now, I didn't get it exactly as the other because I had it zeroed out, but you can see that Z, because that is 10 thousandths above. I can simply put in here 0.01, enter that height for that Z, Z height. So now that's set to 0 at the flush with the top of that board. Now I've already zeroed out, and I didn't look this time, so I'm not going to zero out the Z or the X and the Y, but you simply, all you have to do is just click on these X and Y buttons, and it will zero those out. See if I can move it where it's close. No, I can't. I already zeroed them out earlier, but
Raise up
stay right there.
touch plate too.
Yep. Yeah. But if I want to zero that out, that's 10 thousandths off. So I just simply click on that, see how that zeroed that out. And what that just did, was that just calibrated that head to that board. So we set the home for that project to the center of that board.
Absolutely. And the X, Y, and Z is a very quick and easy to set up. And Burl was just demonstrating the manual touch off for the Z. And the wonderful thing about the Planet CNC TNG software is it also does have an automatic touch off function as well, which we'll show in a later class and things, or not later class, a later video. And Burl, let's take a quick minute before we hit run on that, or we could move right into that. But we do have some questions popping up that I think could.
Yeah, let me go ahead and start it, and then we won't turn the vacuum on, and we can hear that run and while we get those questions. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
We just simply hit start. So you can go ahead and answer some questions.
All right. And Burl, I'm going to go ahead and let that car finish. And I'm going to mute that mic so you can, so we can all talk together. The question that there's a couple of questions that I wanted to answer, and a couple of statements and stuff. Early on, I had mentioned that the 2440 has a 24 by 40 inch cutting area. Now, someone, Randy Rogers, also said that you can cut larger designs by tiling in Vectric, Vcarve Pro, and Aspire. And what that statement means is we have the ability to cut our longer lengths beyond that 40-inch cutting area, and it's a matter of creating the design within the Vectric software, and then it's called tiling, where we can just slide that material down and continue that carving until the project is done. So, Randy, I want to thank you for that. As we go down, we did have a question that I wanted to answer with, and the question came from, let me get down here. Bear with me a second. Where is it at? David, um, how do the riser blocks affect gantry stability? They don't affect the gantry stability. And when Burl joins us back after this carving and everything, the riser blocks do not affect the gantry stability at all. They will simply just raise that up. But there's not going to be any deviation from if the riser blocks were not installed. And David, I will, when we come back to say our goodbyes and stuff, I'll have Burl touch on that just a little bit briefly. We won't go into too much detail, but the no stability issues at all with the riser block set. But I want to thank you for asking that question. And then let's go down, and I want to thank Chuck Brazy for jumping in and answering some of the questions and stuff. Jeff asked about the laser guide. Would it work maybe on other CNCs? Uh, Possibly, Jeff. I haven't tested out other CNCs. It's a laser guide, and it's just a matter of how you would configure it to fit. But it's designed with the bracket and everything the way it's made. It's designed for the 2440 units and things. But I'm sure it's probably it could be adaptable and things and all. But I can't definitively say yes or no. And the last question that I want to get with is Albert. With the casters, will you have to resurface the table every time you move the machine? And Al, no, you do not. You would not need to do that because the carving of the machine is basically it's the parallel distance between the plane of the table and the router bit. And so literally Burl could hang that table up on the wall, and it would still carve in that plane. Where issues come in is if you are parked on an unlevel surface where you cause a twist in the table or something, then that could cause issues. So you want to make sure that you do your best to be on a level surface. But it's not going to, you do not have to resurface the machine every time you move the unit and things. And the last question I want to jump in is Bill's question, very important one. Are you going to be talking about the fourth axis later in the show? Bill, that is a great segue to a future show. We are going to be talking about the fourth axis in an upcoming episode where that's going to be dedicated to the fourth axis. So please stay tuned for that. And when Burl joins us again, Burl, we'll figure out, if we have a date and time on that. But it will be one of these upcoming Wednesdays that we do talk about the fourth axis independently of itself, because I think it needs its own discussion, because it's a great accessory to add to the unit. So thanks for asking that, and it's an upcoming episode. And let's see here. We are carving along. Everything looks great. Burl's got a good, nice little view there. And he's going to show off while it's carving our router bit sets. We have 3 router bit sets that individuals can buy as an option with their unit. We have the DWC108 8-piece 2D 3D carving bit set, which is Burl is showcasing for us right now. This bit set includes a 60-degree V-bit, a 90-degree V-bit, a 1/4-inch upcut spiral bit, a 1/4-inch downcut spiral bit, an 1/8-inch downcut spiral bit, a 1/4-inch ball nose bit, an 1/8-inch tapered ball nose bit, and a 16th-inch tapered ball nose bit. Thank you very much, Burl, for that. Our other piece is our starter bit set. Let's jump into the starter bit set here, Burl, because this is a great thing to get people started. This is the Whiteside 5-piece starter bit set. It's the Whiteside 705 bit set. This comes with a 60-degree and a 90-degree V bit, a 1/4-inch upcut spiral bit, an 1/8-inch tapered ball nose bit, and a 16th-inch tapered ball nose bit. And you're like, well, what are those bits? What are they good? What do they do for? Well, your V bits are going to do all your V carving for like letters and signs and pictures and things. Your end mill, that's your workhorse. That's your pocket cutter, your profile cutter, your 3D rough cutter, and then your ball nose bits. Those are your 3D finished detailing bits. So that little 5-piece bit set will get you started doing 90% of the projects that you want to do. Now, on a more specialized bit, we have our sign making bit set. The sign making bit set has a 30-degree V bit. It has a 60-degree interchangeable blade V bit, which is very nice. It's got an interchangeable insert. We've got a 16th-inch tapered ball nose, a 1/4-inch downcut spiral, and an 1/8-inch upcut spiral. And that is a 2D, or it's a sign making bit set, which is great for having most of the common bits for sign making and things. Your 60-degree V bit is going to be your go-to, but for those fine detail cuts, you've got the 30-degree V bit. And then if you're doing those raised letter effects in the software to get that raised effect, you have your 1/8-inch and 1/4-inch end mill to clear out those pocket areas. And then you also have a tapered ball nose bit in there for some fine detail sign work if you have a 3D model cut that you're doing within your sign. There's a nice little show of the carver so far, carving that digital wood carver logo. And let's go ahead and let's talk about one more question while it's carving. David pops back in. Are the casters single lock or double lock, roll and spin? So they are roll and spin as far as that goes. They do rotate in 360 degrees around. And I am not sure of the term single lock or double lock. They have a single lock where you when you put the lock on, that caster is not moving. I'm not sure what the term double lock is, where if it means it'll keep it from rotating. That is not the case. They are freely rotating for 360 degrees, but they do single lock on the movement and things. So as you can see on the carver, we are getting to the final details right now. It's doing the final border around the cut. This altogether was a 9-minute cut. And again, thank you, David, for asking these questions. And guys and girls, these questions are great. And this is exactly the kind of response we want. We want this to be like a virtual show. If you were standing at our booth right now at Digital Wood Carver, you would be asking these questions, and we're doing our best to answer them that we can, bringing the show to you since with everything going on. And we want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us. Absolutely, for sure. If there are any more questions, please feel free to type them in, and we'll do our best to get to them. But we are at our 45-minute mark. Once this carving gets done, Burl's going to come back and join us. We're going to say our final remarks, and we're probably going to end this. But you can see that carver cutting that last detail, that nice little detail on our logo. And there you go. Now, for those of you that say, well, Burl said that he centered it out on the material, but it looks like it's low. Burl centered out or zeroed out the machine on that lower portion of the board, and he found the center of that lower portion that he was carving in so that we could use that upper portion for a future project or something. So we were not at the exact center of our material. We were at the center of the carving area for that design, so that we could use that upper area for a later project and another broadcast and everything. But look how clean that is. And I want you guys to really observe something very important here is the dust that was going around. And I'm going to have Burl confirm that the dust collector was on, or he might have done some blowing. But even with the dust collector on, if he did use the blower to blow off the table, that's fine, because even with the dust collection on, this is what the table looks like when we're done carving at the shows and we're demonstrating with the vinyl skirts and things. Very little dust is around. It's a very immaculate dust collection system and things. Now, Burl may not have had the vacuum running. He may have been using an air hose and stuff, to keep it clean.
I was cheating. I was cheating on that because I wanted to show the bit actually cutting. A lot of people like to see that. We put the skirt on,
I can completely
and it kind of takes that away. So, but you are correct. It does a good job. It doesn't get 100% on that, but it does a good job. This isn't like a table saw where there's a haze and stuff around it. It did a good job collecting. Laney, if you want,
Burl,
let's do a.
If you could come back around to me for a minute, and we'll say our goodbyes. But I do want to answer a very important question. It's a sales question and all. We have a question from Teresa Williams that asks, where is the showroom to view these? And let me just, Burl, I'm going to pop open a screen here with both of us side by side here. And we have our showroom. We have our home office is in Martinsville, Indiana. The units themselves are manufactured right down the road in Shoals, Indiana, by our factory over there as well. And so an individual by appointment could come to our Martinsville location to look at a demo.
Yes.
But we have some wonderful dealers out there that I'd like to point them to as well. We have stockroom supply for our Canadian customers. Our stockroom supply is in Waynfleet, Ontario, and Ontario, Canada. So for all of our Canadian customers, absolutely go there and purchase or check out one of our machines. We have North Carolina. In Oakboro, North Carolina, we have our North Carolina dealer. We have, and I love his name, bro. And you'll have to correct me if it's a nickname or if it's actually his name. But Wisconsin dealer Stanky, I think that's a nickname. I don't think his parents for that. But is it his name?
That's his name.
That's
his name.
That's amazing. He is an amazing guy, great character. He has our units. Bro, does he have both of our models or just one of our models at his location viewing?
Yeah, him and his girls run the Mini or the 1824. That they make all kinds of stuff. They're Disney fanatics, and they show me all kinds of little gadgets and stuff that they make with their units.
Outstanding.
But yeah.
And to give a shout out to our Woodcraft dealers, we are in Woodcraft in Indianapolis, Indiana, and we are in Woodcraft in Appleton, Wisconsin. We are in Woodcraft in St. Louis, Missouri. And then our newest dealer, which I'm so happy they jumped on with us, is Klingspor Woodworking Shop. And Klingspor Woodworking Shop is located in Hickory, North Carolina. So Teresa, I want to thank you for asking that question. And any one of those showrooms you could go to, or you could talk and set an appointment with Burl to come out to Indiana if you're in our local area.
I just want to do a quick little span of our makeshift showroom. Laney, these are a lot of projects that we take to our show. Just want to show them off. We obviously ran out of time. We'll do the finger joint with itself or with another component. But here's a nice little box that.
At the end of the table. We'll kind of show it off a little bit, but we'll see. We'll show it. But I want you guys to look at that box over there. That box is made with the joint maker jig and the joints. There's a little dog bone joint at the top right there. And that box has 4 different joints. There's a spade joint at the bottom on that side. I'm not going to have Burl spin it around, but on the other side.
I was going to say one-handed, that might be tough.
Yeah, no, there's a dovetail joint on the other, and all of that was made with a dove joint jig. There is Burl's mock guitar. That is just a guitar body cut out with some epoxy resin fill, which was beautiful.
Yep.
We've got a Vcarve photo. This was Glenn. Glenn is one of our customers, and he's a great guy, and he submitted this project to us, and I thought that was outstanding how he did that. And right next to it is a beautiful Vcarve butterfly sign. Rose George, one of our other customers, submitted that to us. And a nice inlay. That looks like walnut and maple. And I believe Laney Shaughnessy submitted that to us.
Yeah, we'll do a shout out for Laney. He does a good job.
Absolutely. Now this, we're going to show off this jig, but we're not showing it used or anything. But this is our joint making jig that attaches right to the 2440 unit. And what we've got clamped into it now, what this jig does is it allows us to carve off the end of the table to carve on the vertical as well as the horizontal. And that's all right. That clamp, we can leave that pendant down there for a minute, Burl. But we can clamp edges or boards right on the edge of the table and carve on the vertical. Great for specialized joints, dovetail joints, finger joints, these decorative joints like the bone joints, the heart joints that you see right there. Mortise and tenons and everything. And it's a great accessory. That accessory is a $175 add-on, and it gives us the ability to do all those cool things and carve off the front of the table. Now, one of the things that we, with that joint making jig, you actually get a riser block set that mounts to the gantry. And what that does is it raises the gantry up 1 inch, giving you an extra inch of clearance, and it pushes that gantry forward by about 3 inches to allow you to carve off the front of the table to do those vertical cuts and things. And Burl, thanks for that showcase. That was a really nice kind of walkthrough and stuff.
Yeah, I wanted to show some product that the unit can produce. That's some of the questions that we get is what all it can do, and we believe the proof is in the product. Yep. That it produces.
And Burl, we're gonna end this. It's at 53 minutes right now. We're gonna go ahead and go the last 7 minutes and answer just a couple of quick questions. Can you purchase directly from the Martinsville location, or do you have to buy from a dealer? Go ahead, Burl. Can you answer that one?
Well, certainly you can produce from us direct. That's how we sell most of our machines. We don't want to discredit our dealers. They're doing an awesome job, and certainly want to support those. But we do sell direct because we don't have dealers in most of the areas. Those are only just select areas that we have those dealers. You certainly can. And get back to that showroom. I don't necessarily call it a showroom, but our location here in Martinsville, I did clean it up a little bit today, and it looks a little more like a showroom today. But you're welcome to come. Certainly make an appointment to do that. I'm here most of the time, but there is times I'm down at the factory, and so somebody may not be here all the time on that. So.
Absolutely. And, another way, Burl, is by the internet, www.digitalwoodcarver.com. An individual can purchase through our internet website. They can actually call in as well. And or they could email for a quote. And let's get that popped in here for a second. Burl, let me get that showing up on the screen here. And it's been on the screen the whole time. But you can email us for a quote or a purchase at sales@digitalwoodcarver.com, or call us direct toll free at 833-DWC-CNC1. And that stands for 833-392-2621 and extension 1 for the sales. So absolutely give us a call, shoot us an email, check out our website. And Burl, I want to thank you for taking the time to do this for everybody, because it's really great that we've lost the ability to go out to the public, to the show.
Exactly.
We're bringing the show to them, and it's all because, you know, you sparked the idea saying, hey, what can we do? And this turned out to be a great thing. And I think it's been productive tonight. We were able to answer some questions. We've got some great comment. We've even got some customers jumping in and giving us support as well.
We appreciate that. Our customers are awesome when it comes to that. And I think it was a good evening. We're testing on this as far as long and how long it was. Our whole concept here is, you know, give the people a chance to see a product, see it run, see some of the accessories, and you know, what it can do without having to, because they can't go to the shows right now, and that they can see a product and see what it is. We do have a few products in inventory, you know, so if we need to ship, certainly give us a call. We can do that.
And the last thing we're going to do, Burl, is we're going to answer one more question, and then we're going to say our goodbyes. And I'll let you, after we answer the question, I'll let you say your farewells and your good wishes to everybody, and then I will close out the show. But there's a question that I want to answer is, with the water-cooled spindle 220 volt, what bits can I use? Well, just like whether it be with a router or the water-cooled spindle, we can use 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch, or 1/2 inch shank router bits. And these bits could be like those bit sets that you saw, Burl. And our bit sets are not proprietary to our machines.
Exactly.
People can go to Woodcraft or Rockler to buy router bits. They can go online. We would love you to buy our router bits and our router bit sets. Absolutely. Any support that you can give us is greatly appreciated by buying router bits from us. And we do have a nice collection of Whiteside and Amana bits. Al, I know you are going to be a future customer, and you're just waiting for the upcoming month to do so, or a month. And I want to thank you for joining us tonight and asking these questions. But any router bit, even it's those bits that don't have those guide bearings on them, guys and girls, that you would use in your router table. They've got to be plungeable. So, but any router bits for that. All right, everybody. We're going to say thank you to Randy. And I'm glad that this helped you. In our future episodes, guys, we got 2 minutes to say our goodbyes. This was an hour-long episode. Most likely our future episodes are going to be shorter and to the point on specific things, but I look forward to those Wednesdays. And Burl, go ahead and say your goodbyes.
Well, thank you everyone for coming out and joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure doing this. It was sparked an idea whenever they canceled some of our shows, and how can we still get out and reach customers. So I've had a good time, Laney. It's always good hanging out with you. So everybody, be safe and happy carving.
All right. And for me, I would just like to say thank you for joining us. Thank you for everybody with all the positive comments that you said. Thanks for everybody for the questions that you asked. We greatly appreciate it. Join us next Wednesday, same time, same place, for our next episode. We will post on our Facebook page what the topic's going to be for next week when we put out the advertisements and stuff. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, and I wish I did. But once again, I want to thank you all. And in this last 60 seconds, be safe, wash your hands. Social distancing is a thing now. We didn't know what it was 6 months ago or 8 months ago, but it's new. And we're all dealing with it in our own ways. So hopefully we can bring a little bit of light to your Wednesday evenings at 7 o'clock. Be sure to join us next week. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Thank you.